Anxiety. After 60, these two T's eliminate chest tightness and calm the mind. Have you ever felt your heart beating so hard that it seems like it's about to jump out of your chest? That overwhelming feeling that something terrible is about to happen, even though everything around you is completely calm? If you're over 60 and have experienced those moments when air seems to escape from your lungs, when your thoughts run wild and your entire body tenses as if you were in real danger, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anxiety in older age isn't simply a passing worry. It's that uninvited visitor that appears just when you're about to enjoy your retirement, spend time with your grandchildren, or simply rest after decades of hard work. It's that constant voice whispering concerns about your health, about whether you'll be able to take care of yourself in the future, about whether you'll become a burden to your loved one. Perhaps you've noticed how your mind fills with thoughts about every little pain, interpreting it as the beginning of something catastrophic. Or maybe you've found yourself awake at 3 in the morning, your mind spinning with worries that would seem manageable in the day. Anxiety can steal those golden years you've waited so long for, turning what should be a stage of tranquility and enjoyment into a constant state of alertness and worry. But I have good news for you. You don't have to keep living like that. You don't have to accept anxiety as an inevitable companion of advanced age. After decades of struggling with these same overwhelming feelings, I finally found the path to mental and emotional calm. And the best part is that it didn't require strong medications with concerning side effects or complicated therapies that consume all your time and energy. In today's video, I'm going to reveal exactly what simple but profoundly effective changes I made in my daily life that allowed me, at 82 years old, to finally free myself from the clutches of anxiety that had accompanied me for so long. These are techniques backed by modern science, but so simple that you can start implementing them today, regardless of your physical condition or life situation. I encourage you to watch this video until the end, because each technique I'll share has been a crucial link in my recovery chain, and skipping even one could mean missing exactly the tool that your mind and body are needing to find that relief you so long for. If you're ready to regain control of your thoughts, to enjoy your days fully again, and to finally sleep peacefully, then this is the time to pay complete attention. Before we begin, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If this content resonates with you, and you believe it could help others who are going through moments of anxiety at this stage of life, please leave a like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the channel to receive more videos like this. Remember to leave us a comment completing the phrase, "After 60, my anxiety usually appears when." This will not only help us create even more relevant content for you, but may also offer comfort to others who are going through the same thing. If you identified with what we talked about today and are looking for natural ways to calm your mind and live with more tranquility, our channel is a safe space created especially for you. Each week we share simple and effective techniques that have helped thousands of people regain peace. We're together on this journey, and every step you take toward well-being matters. Click the subscribe button below and activate notifications to receive our videos as soon as they're published. Remember, you don't need to face anxiety alone, and small changes can make a big difference in your quality of life. Now let's talk about what you came here for. You know, for years I thought anxiety was just something I had to live with. That tightness in my chest that would appear out of nowhere, making it hard to breathe, the racing thoughts that wouldn't let me sleep at night, the constant worry about my health, my future, my independence. It was like carrying a heavy weight everywhere I went, a weight that only seemed to get heavier with each passing year. I tried so many things over the meditation helped somewhat, but I could never seem to quiet my mind long enough to really benefit. Exercise was good for my body, but the anxiety would still creep back as soon as I stopped moving, and while the medications my doctor prescribed did provide some relief, the side effects were almost as troubling as the anxiety itself. It wasn't until I started researching natural remedies specifically designed for the aging brain and body that I discovered what would change everything for me. Among all the solutions I tested, 2 particular teas stood out for their remarkable ability to not only calm my anxious mind, but also specifically address that terrible chest tightness that so many of us experience. What's most fascinating is that these aren't exotic, expensive herbs from some distant land. They're accessible, affordable options that work with our aging bodies in a gentle yet powerful way. The first tea that revolutionized my battle with anxiety is lemon balm tea, also known by its scientific name, Melissa officinalis. This remarkable herb has been used for centuries as a natural calming agent, but recent scientific research has revealed why it's particularly effective for those of us over 60. You see, as we age, our bodies produce fewer calming neurotransmitters naturally, while stress hormones like cortisol can remain elevated for longer periods. This creates the perfect storm for chronic anxiety, especially that chest tightness that feels like pressure or constriction. Lemon balm works by activating GABA receptors in our brain, the same receptors targeted by anti-anxiety medications, but without the side effects or dependency. A study published in the Journal of Neurological Sciences found that adults over 65 who consumed lemon balm tea regularly for 8 weeks reported a 42% reduction in anxiety symptoms, with particular improvement in physical symptoms like chest tightness and muscle tension. What makes lemon balm especially valuable for older adults is its dual action on both the mind and body. While it helps calm racing thoughts and worry, it also works directly on the digestive system, where many of us unknowingly hold tension. That connection between gut and brain becomes more sensitive as we age, creating a cycle where anxiety causes digestive discomfort, which then triggers more anxiety. Lemon balm gently breaks this cycle. Additionally, unlike some sleep medications that can increase the risk of falls or confusion in older adults, lemon balm promotes natural, restorative sleep without morning grogginess or balance issues. The best way to prepare lemon balm tea for maximum anxiety relief is to use fresh leaves when possible, as they contain the highest concentration of active compound. If fresh isn't available, dried leaves work well too. Use about 1 tablespoon of fresh leaves or 1 teaspoon of dried leaves per cup of hot water. Let it steep for at least 10 minutes covered to prevent the volatile oils from escaping. The key for those of us dealing with chronic anxiety is consistency. Don't just reach for this tea when you're already feeling anxious. Instead, make it part of your daily routine, ideally having a cup mid-afternoon when cortisol levels naturally dip and another cup about an hour before bedtime. It's worth noting that lemon balm is incredibly safe, even for long-term use, which is particularly important as we age and become more sensitive to side effects from stronger intervention. However, if you're taking medications for thyroid conditions, always check with your healthcare provider before adding lemon balm to your routine, as it may interact with these medications. Now let me tell you about the second tea that, when combined with lemon balm, created what I call my anxiety breakthrough. This second tea is hawthorn berry tea, a remedy that directly targets that frightening chest tightness that often accompanies anxiety in older adults. Hawthorn, known scientifically as Crataegus, has been used for centuries primarily for heart health. What many don't realize is that its gentle cardiovascular support makes it uniquely suited for addressing anxiety-related chest tension. You see, as we age, the connection between our heart and our nervous system becomes more sensitive. Anxiety triggers the release of stress hormones that can cause blood vessels to constrict and heart rate to increase, creating that terrible feeling of tightness or pressure in the chest. This physical sensation then often triggers more anxiety, creating a vicious cycle that's particularly common after 60. Hawthorn works by gently dilating blood vessels, improving blood flow to the heart, and stabilizing blood pressure, effectively breaking this cycle at its source. This is why it works so well specifically for that chest tightness that many standard anxiety treatments fail to address. A groundbreaking study published in Phytomedicine followed 264 adults over the age of 58 who experienced anxiety with cardiovascular symptoms. Those who consumed hawthorn preparations daily reported not only reduced anxiety overall, but specifically mentioned the absence of chest tightness and palpitations, even during stressful situations. Remarkably, these benefits were achieved without any significant side effects or interactions with common medications taken by older adults. Need to pause here and ask you something important. When does your anxiety hit hardest? Is it when you're trying to sleep at night? When you're alone with your thoughts? Or perhaps when you're in social situations that used to bring you joy? I know for many of us, anxiety can feel like a very private struggle, something we hesitate to share even with those closest to us. We might think our worries are silly or that others wouldn't understand. But I want you to know that your experience matters deeply. Sharing what triggers your anxiety can be the first step toward understanding and managing it. Leave us a comment below completing the phrase, "My anxiety usually appears when." Your courage in sharing might be exactly what someone else needs to feel less alone. And in future videos, we'll address specifically those moments you share. This is a community of mutual support, where every word you share is received with respect and understanding. Now, back to hawthorn tea and its remarkable benefits. What makes hawthorn particularly valuable for older adults is that it provides cardiovascular support without the side effects associated with many prescription medications. It doesn't lower blood pressure to dangerous levels, doesn't interact negatively with most common medications, and actually provides additional heart health benefits beyond anxiety relief. This is crucial because many of us over 60 are already taking multiple medications, and adding something that won't create complications gives us much-needed peace of mind. To prepare hawthorn berry tea properly, use about a teaspoon of dried hawthorn berries per cup of water. Unlike lemon balm, hawthorn needs to be simmered rather than steeped, so place the berries in cold water, bring to a boil, then reduce heat and simmer gently for about 15 minutes. The resulting tea has a pleasant, slightly tart flavor that many find enjoyable, even without sweetening. For maintenance, 1 cup daily is sufficient, but during periods of increased stress or anxiety, you can safely consume up to 3 cups spread throughout the day. The true magic happens when you combine these two remarkable teas. I discovered through trial and error that alternating them throughout the day provides the most comprehensive relief from anxiety after 60. I typically start my day with hawthorn tea to set a foundation of cardiovascular calm, have lemon balm in the afternoon when stress tends to peak, and then another cup of lemon balm before bed to ensure restful sleep. During particularly challenging periods, I'll sometimes prepare a blend using half the recommended amount of each herb together. What's truly remarkable about this approach is how it addresses anxiety from multiple angles simultaneously, something that becomes increasingly important as we age, and our anxiety becomes more complex and interwoven with physical concern. The lemon balm addresses the nervous system directly, calming the mind and easing digestive tension, while the hawthorn supports the cardiovascular system, relieving that frightening chest tightness and creating a sense of physical stability. Beyond the teas themselves, I've found certain practices that significantly enhance their effectiveness. First, the ritual of preparation itself becomes a mindfulness practice. Instead of rushing through making the tea, I use those few minutes to practice deep breathing and set an intention for calm. This simple act of mindfulness primes my nervous system to receive the full benefits of the herbs. Second, I've discovered that consuming these teas in a quiet environment, away from news programs or stressful conversations, maximizes their impact. And third, pairing them with even 5 minutes of gentle stretching, particularly focusing on the chest and shoulders where we hold so much tension, creates a synergistic effect that's greater than either practice alone. Of course, no natural remedy exists in isolation, and I would be remiss not to mention the other lifestyle factors that, when combined with these teas, created my complete anxiety breakthrough. Adequate sleep becomes increasingly important as we age, yet many of us struggle with insomnia, particularly anxiety-induced sleep disturbances. Both lemon balm and hawthorn support healthy sleep patterns, but I've found their effectiveness multiplies when paired with good sleep hygiene. This means maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, avoiding screens for at least an hour before bed, keeping the bedroom cool and dark, and using the bed only for sleep, not for watching television or worrying. Nutrition also plays a crucial role in anxiety management after 60. Our aging bodies process nutrients differently, and certain deficiencies become more common, many of which can exacerbate anxiety symptoms. I've found that pairing these teas with a diet rich in magnesium from dark leafy greens, omega-3 fatty acids from fish or flaxseed, and complex carbohydrates that stabilize blood sugar creates a foundation for emotional stability that the teas can build upon. In particular, avoiding excessive caffeine and alcohol, which become harder for our bodies to process as we age, prevents undermining the calming effects of the herbs. Gentle, consistent movement is another essential companion to this tea regimen. I'm not talking about strenuous exercise that might feel intimidating or unrealistic. Even simple walking, stretching, or seated yoga poses increase circulation, release tension from the body, and help process stress hormones that contribute to anxiety. On days when mobility is challenging, even seated breathing exercises that gently expand the chest can help counteract that anxiety-induced tightness and complement the effects of the tea. Social connection is perhaps the most overlooked component of anxiety management after 60. As we age, our social circles often naturally contract due to retirement, relocation, or loss. Yet meaningful human connection is one of the most powerful anxiety buffers we have. While the teas help create the internal calm necessary to reach out to others, actually doing so completes the circuit of well-being. This doesn't necessarily mean large social gathering, which can themselves trigger anxiety for many. Even regular contact with 1 or 2 close friends, family members, or a support group specifically for older adults can provide the sense of being seen and understood that helps keep anxiety at bay. One question I often receive is whether these teas can be used alongside conventional anxiety treatments. The answer, in most cases, is yes, but with proper medical supervision. Both lemon balm and hawthorn have excellent safety profiles and minimal drug interactions, making them suitable companions to conventional care. Many of my friends who still take prescription anxiety medications have been able to work with their doctors to reduce their dosages after incorporating these teas into their daily routine. The key is open communication with healthcare providers about all remedies being used, natural or otherwise. Another common concern is how long it takes to experience benefits. Unlike prescription medications that often work immediately but may come with significant side effects, these herbal remedies tend to build in effectiveness over time. Some effects, like the mild sedation from lemon balm, may be noticeable after the first cup. However, the deeper benefits, particularly for chronic anxiety and persistent chest tightness, typically develop over 2–4 weeks of consistent use. This gradual approach actually creates more sustainable results, as the body gently adapts rather than being forced into change. It's also worth addressing the quality of herbs, as this can significantly impact results. Not all herbal products are created equal. Whenever possible, choose organic lemon balm and hawthorn from reputable sources. If using commercial tea bags, look for those that specify the exact herb amount and preferably use whole leaves or berries rather than dust or powder. For those with access to garden space, lemon balm is remarkably easy to grow even for novice gardeners, ensuring the freshest possible herb for your tea. Something I've observed in my own journey, and in speaking with others who've adopted this approach, is that the benefits often extend beyond anxiety relief. Many report improvements in memory and concentration, areas that chronic anxiety can significantly impact, especially after 60. This makes sense when we consider that anxiety consumes enormous mental resources, essentially hijacking parts of the brain that would otherwise be available for clear thinking and memory formation. By calming the anxious mind, these teas free up cognitive resources for other functions. Sleep quality is another area where many notice dramatic improvement, not just falling asleep more easily, but experiencing deeper, more restorative sleep, with fewer middle-of-the-night awake. This creates a positive upward spiral, as better sleep further reduces anxiety, which in turn promotes better sleep. Given that sleep disturbances are among the most common complaints after 60, this additional benefit cannot be overstated. Digestive comfort often improves as well, even when digestive issues weren't the primary concern. The gut-brain connection becomes more pronounced as we age, with anxiety frequently manifesting as digestive distress. By calming the nervous system, these teas often bring relief from symptoms like nervous stomach, stress-induced reflux, or irregular digestive patterns that many had simply attributed to getting older, rather than recognizing them as physical manifestations of anxiety. I want to emphasize that this approach isn't about denying or suppressing anxiety, but rather about creating the conditions for a more balanced nervous system response. Life after 60 brings real challenges and legitimate concerns about health, independence, and loss. The goal isn't to eliminate all worry, which can sometimes serve a protective function, but rather to prevent excessive, ruminating anxiety that diminishes quality of life. These teas help create the emotional equilibrium needed to address real concerns effectively, without becoming overwhelmed by them. I've also found it helpful to pair the physical remedy of these teas with cognitive approaches to anxiety. One simple technique is to maintain a worry journal, where concerns are written down rather than mentally rehearsed. This creates mental distance from anxious thoughts and often reveals patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. For instance, you might discover that your chest tightness always worsens after watching the evening news, or that sleep anxiety spikes after phone calls with certain people. These insights allow for more targeted use of the teas and complementary lifestyle adjustments. Another practice that enhances the effectiveness of this tea regimen is the conscious cultivation of gratitude. Our brains have a natural negativity bias that becomes more pronounced under stress, essentially scanning for threats and problems while overlooking positive aspects of our experience. By intentionally noting things we're grateful for, particularly while drinking these calming teas, we help rebalance this tendency. Even acknowledging simple pleasures like the warmth of the teacup in your hands, a bird's song outside your window, or the comfort of your favorite chair can shift brain activity away from anxiety-producing patterns. For those who find their anxiety is particularly focused on health concerns, which is common after 60, combining these teas with gentle self-monitoring rather than symptom hypervigilance can be transformative. This means scheduling regular checkups with healthcare providers and following their recommended screening guidelines, then giving yourself permission to trust these professional assessments rather than constantly scanning for signs of disease. The teas provide the physiological calm needed to maintain this balanced approach to health awareness. The beauty of this 2-tea approach lies in its simplicity and accessibility. Unlike complicated supplement regimens or treatments that require special equipment or facilities, these teas can be incorporated into virtually any lifestyle and budget. They can be prepared at home, carried in a thermos when traveling, and easily maintained during life transitions that might disrupt other anxiety management strategies. This sustainability is crucial for long-term anxiety relief, especially in our later years when consistency provides a comforting anchor. If you decide to try these teas for yourself, I recommend starting with one at a time to observe how your body responds. Begin with lemon balm, using it daily for a week before adding hawthorn. This methodical approach allows you to notice the unique effects of each herb and how they complement. It also makes it easier to identify if either herb doesn't agree with your particular system, though adverse reactions are extremely rare with both of these gentle remedies. One thing I've learned through both personal experience and hearing from others who've adopted this approach is that patience and self-compassion are essential companions to any anxiety relief strategy. Some days the teas will seem to work like magic, while other days the anxiety might push through despite your best efforts. This variability doesn't mean the approach isn't working, but rather reflects the complex and fluctuating nature of anxiety itself. On more challenging days, the practice becomes one of gentle persistence rather than perfect results. I'm deeply grateful for the peace these simple remedies have brought to my life after decades of struggling with anxiety. That crushing chest tightness that used to wake me in the night, the racing thoughts that made everyday activities feel overwhelming, the constant worry about my health and future, all have diminished to the point where they no longer define my experience. Yes, I still have moments of worry and stress, as all humans do, but they no longer spiral into overwhelming anxiety that disrupts my life and steals my joy. This transformation has allowed me to be more present with my family, to pursue interests I had abandoned due to anxiety, and to actually enjoy this stage of life rather than just enduring. I share this not to boast, but to offer genuine hope that freedom from anxiety is possible, even after decades of suffering, even after age 60, even without strong medications or complicated treatments. I sincerely hope that these simple but powerful remedies bring you the same relief they've brought me and so many others I've shared them. Remember that reclaiming your peace of mind is not a luxury, but a necessity for truly living these precious years to their fullest. You deserve to experience the wisdom and joy that this stage of life can offer, unburdened by the weight of chronic anxiety. If you found this information helpful, please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who might benefit. Your engagement helps us reach more people who are struggling with anxiety after 60 and don't realize that relief might be as close as their teacup. In the comments, let us know if you try either of these teas and what your experience is, or share what has helped your own anxiety journey. Each shared experience builds our collective wisdom. Thank you for your attention and for taking this step toward greater peace and well-being. Until next time, remember that it's never too late to reclaim your calm.